What's wrong with this country and England and the world is that they have bought Satan's lie that it's okay to be gay. Our message is it's not okay to be gay. It will warp the mind, destroy the soul, and damn the nation.
Westboro Baptist Church of Topeka is an old school or primitive Baptist church.
You know, he's quite a showman, and he knows that. They've gotten a big, long run out of this.
Make a sign! God hates fags. That's all you gotta do.
This generation teaches their children it is in fact okay to be gay. That is a lie.
It's amazing how much Bible a little child can know and retain.
All we ever knew growing up, all we ever talked about was the ministry of WVC. And they expect everyone to bow down and do everything that they want them to
do. Do your worst! I dare you! Try to stop us!
You taught these kids from the time they started school that it's okay to be gay. So therefore you busted their moral compass. Same God that said thou shalt not kill said thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind, and affixed the death penalty for both sins. And you taught them that God didn't mean what he said about one, so if it's okay to be gay, it's okay to kill.
Hey, I got an idea. Let's rip the babies out of the wombs of these fool American women on the back of their fornication. And then let's break the moral compasses of the kids that do end up getting born, raise them up for the devil, and then hand them a gun and go send them off to fight bloody wars that we have no business fighting in the first place, and we certainly can't win.
You sit them in your homes, in your classrooms, in your so-called churches, and you teach them rebellion against the standards of God.
Look, when we take these kids out on these picket lines, they see the difference. You know, the mind starts working pretty early. They see the difference between the way we conduct ourselves and how we cleave to the Scripture. We're sinners like anybody else, but the main difference between God's elect and the reprobate is we're ashamed of our sin. We're not proud of it. We don't want to continue it. We want to stop it.
This generation has taught these children it is in fact okay to have sex early, often, with anyone you want to, or any animal that you want to. There is special anger from God about what you do with your children because the Scripture says they know nothing.
And all such gifts as accompany salvation are reserved by that same sovereign God for his sheep, his elect.
Shouldn't they have the chance to decide first before they're out here?
That's like saying, that's like if you were to ask me, shouldn't they have a right to decide whether they should go to school and learn before you send them to school to learn? I mean, this is more important even than that.
When any one of these children, when they're a little bit older, if they decide that this is not something that they want to be a part of, will they still be allowed to be, are they still going to be a member of these families, a member of this community?
Don't you understand that if they do not believe this message that the Lord our God has given us, there isn't going to be a discussion about how can I stay even if I don't believe the way you do. They will naturally go.
Steve has since become its public information officer. Basically, it's propaganda minister-in-chief.
Talk to children, God's a liar.
Well, the way we do it is we're writing parodies. So we're trying to replace those lyrics with lyrics that are biblically sound. Of course, it has to fit, a hook.
Check them out now.
Big Bibbin on your G.O.D. God's gonna stand there and watch you burn. That's alright.
when we make our music choices of songs, I mean, that really revolves around mostly popularity. I am much more fearful of being, neglecting my duty to my children to teach them what the Lord requires of them than I am not having some, fleshly relationship with them. Besides which, when we're talking about kids growing up, they become adults. You don't hang out with people who don't like the same kind of stuff you like or do the same kind of stuff you do. Everybody gravitates toward people with common interests.
Steve's daughters, Lauren and Taylor, were brought into the Westboro fold as adolescents. Upon their arrival, the Drains sharply changed their approach to parenting. No Christmas, no Halloween, no Thanksgiving, no more rock bands, no more haircuts for the girls, no more chocolate bunnies or even what would Jesus do bracelets. And above all, no boys.
God says to warn them from him. If these people don't obey him, they don't keep his commandments, they blaspheme him, and they spit in his face every day. And that's what we're here to do.
What's your name?
Taylor Drain.
How old?
16.
Taylor, she actually cut a music video not too long ago. She's a senior at Washburn University now. You understand, she studies computer information systems, but she likes the look and feel side of that. So for instance, GodHatesTheMedia.com, that's basically her website. She put it together. Taylor also does the WBC video news a couple times a week. It usually has been Gramps, Pastor Phelps, but here recently, some of the other elder men have been kind of breaking out and starting to do some talking. And Taylor, she switches that. She's got a little switcher in there in the studio, and she posts it herself and sticks it up there. So it's pretty cool.
Taylor, I mean, she was kind of quiet. Truthfully, I'm surprised that she's there, because I thought that she was kind of attached to, some of the boys that left in her grade. I don't know, and her sister. I thought she was attached to her sister.
Well into the second hour of our interview, we noticed that Steve was still hesitant to discuss the one topic on both of our minds, his daughter Lauren.
These are kids for a while, and then they're adults for a long time. And when they're adults, when they come to that age of kind of the age where they have a moral responsibility for themselves, at least I'll know this. At least I'll know that I did my duty to them. Because my life isn't about pleasing myself. My life isn't about pleasing my children. My life is about serving my Lord.
She never was a true believer. You don't even want to get me started on this girl. She always wanted to go out with boys. I know that I had people, even after all of us left, come up to me and tell me how she would take clothes to school and change into them that were inappropriate. She snuck out all the time with a guy from Topeka High and did stuff with him. She got a flat tire and she got caught.
Lauren Drain was expelled from the Westboro Baptist Church in 2007. She has been allowed no contact with her mother and two younger siblings, Bose and Faith.
I haven't spoken to her probably in, I'm going to say 3 years. I'm not really sure. But I think probably 3 years since I've spoken to her. She's a grown woman now. It's way different than when you're a little kid. When I have these little kids, they're looking to Dad for some guidance, and I tell them, look, this is what the Scripture says here. This is the standard that we have in this house. But now she's a grown woman, and first time I go to telling her that what she's doing is wrong, she's going to tell me to take a long walk on a short pier. There aren't any other options in life. You either warn the wicked or you don't warn the wicked. You warn the righteous or you don't warn the righteous. And let's just take a broad view of America from a Bible perspective.
All these things that are happening today, all these shootings are from God's hand.
God sent the shooters, and so now there's been a rash of shooters.
God says, thou shalt not lie with
mankind, as with womankind.
It is abomination.
Global warming and hurricanes and floods.
God says no divorce, no remarriage.
You are living in adultery.
It's okay to be gay.
It is in fact okay to be gay. We're entitled to do what we want with our own bodies. That's like the killer saying, I killed someone last night, but God forgives me. I'm gonna go kill someone again tonight, but God forgives me.